welcome.
Yeah.
The last time we spoke, we spoke about a number of things.
Yep.
Right, and I really appreciated our talk. I think it was actually well worth it. And you said next time you'll be prepared. But
Always have something.
what I must say is the best part of a meeting, to have at this meeting, is when you're not prepared, because at least we get to hear the truth,
Yeah,
so to speak. You get what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
it's like the questions just come at you, and then you don't have a lot of thought put into it, right?
Yep.
So what we actually get was your real experiences, right? But we're gonna go back through some of these questions, and hopefully we can elaborate on it some more, right?
Perfect.
And again, the purpose of this meeting, thank you again for joining me, is to have individuals who have worked intimately within the dealership, have that dealership experience, which they want to share with the rest of us, and also how it has impacted both you personally and to those you serve, right? Both our internal customers as well as our external customers, our stakeholders, our shareholders, right? And the impact this has on the society as a whole and the industry, as a matter of fact. So start off by introducing yourself, years of experience. Let us know exactly how you went through the trenches, and tell us about yourself.
All right. So my name is Devin, Devin Luke. I am an automotive.
I'm sorry, your volume is a little bit low. Could you turn it up a little bit, please? Just a little bit.
Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Hello?
just.
How do I? Sorry, let me just check here how to do this.
Yeah, go ahead again.
I'm just trying to increase my volume here.
Okay, just
I'm as high as I can go with my volume.
Okay, it's okay. I'll make it happen. No worries. I'll do some editing and try to increase it. But go ahead.
All right. So my name is Devin Luke. I've been in the automotive industry since the mid 2000s, so I'm pushing almost 15 years. Now, I actually started off my career with the Toyota brand, and I started off as a lot attendant, and then moved my way up throughout the dealership into the service section. So as an apprentice, and then a service advisor, detailer, technician, and then parts, and then service manager, and then fixed operations. Now I'm currently selling cars, so I'm in the sales side, and then I'm selling and was just recently doing financing as well. So as a financial, so as a financial service manager. So I've pretty much done almost everything in the automotive dealership experience.
Okay.
So I have a lot of knowledge through
yes, based on what you just explained, seems like you've been all over the dealership, every single positions, well, except accounting, but you're doing finance now. But Devin, 15 years, it's a long time, but
it is.
It does reflect you. You look like, when did you start? Like 15? You started at age 15. You don't look like you've been in the business for 15 years. I mean, you look pretty young.
Late teens, almost hitting 20, and I did it. I got in, and I didn't look back. The automotive is something that this industry is one of the best industries to be in. There's always a demand, and it's always changing. And there's always something for you to do. Right. I was a university student, still finished school, but even with my degree, I came back to the automotive. It's something I couldn't leave.
Okay.
Oh, your screen switched there. Is that okay?
Oh, yes, that's okay.
Perfect. So I was looking at some of the questions we're going to talk about, and one of them I'm seeing here is how the operations have changed,
Right.
right? Since I've been in it, since I started, they have changed. It's more customer centric,
Right.
more than before, because as we both know, there's more competition out there, right? Every year there's a new dealership popping up, and we have to be able to stay on top of it for our shareholders, and for our customers,
Okay.
right? So your customer service, everything that's just increasing,
But
right?
you went right into my next question as to how has your operations, well, the operations overall or the industry itself has changed since you started out. Give us a little bit of that history.
So there are more people now. There's more shops out there. So if you're looking from a service perspective, there's a lot
Right.
more automotive shops, right? And
Mhm.
they offer competitive pricing, right? The labor rates have increased. All
Okay.
dealers around, labor rates have gone up. Anywhere from being 100 Canadian now to, or 80, $90 Canadian when I first started, it was $90 the door rate. Now
Right.
dealers are charging 130,
Okay.
right? And that's within 10 years. That's a big increase.
Yeah.
But right now, because of the pandemic, operations have definitely changed a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. We've seen it. The pandemic has affected everyone right across the board.
Yeah, because now we have a lot of people working from home.
Okay.
They don't need to get their car service as much. A lot of
Right.
families are actually downsizing the vehicles they have because half of them are actually working from home and don't need the second or third vehicle. And we see that in our sales,
Okay.
right? For me being in sales, I could tell you I'm noticing a lot of people trying to get rid of their vehicles. They're trying to sell them, or they're trying to downsize,
Okay.
right? Or they'll get rid of their third car and they'll get a minivan instead, or get rid of two cars and switch over to one.
Mhm.
So that's from a sales perspective. Also, not everybody needs to buy a car, they're using that money for something else. So we
Right.
have to
Right.
try to find a way to bring them in, right? And show them more value. If we could provide them more value, whether it's service or it's in sales, then it'll give them a better reason to come on in.
Well, yes, because at the end of the day, it's all about customer value. What value are you adding to the customer's experience, right? So that is paramount in terms of how dealerships should go about maintaining and increasing their customer retention. But I want to go back a little into you coming up through the ranks, which is commendable, and speak more about your service and parts experience. Tell us a little about that.
Okay, yeah. So moving up through parts, the parts department is one of the greatest departments to work in. It's
Okay. Well, I'm happy that you said that, but continue, because you know my background is directly from parts, but a lot of
your
people
parts,
would a lot of people would understand what takes place. That is why I'm doing these series for persons who are intimate within the industry to explain. But please continue.
So I think parts was one of my favorite positions, right? It's you're in charge of all the inventory, everything that comes in, everything that goes out. It's always moving. There's always something different. You're dealing with the front end with front facing customers,
Right.
and then you have the back end with your technicians, and then you have a wholesale section. And our job is important. We have to make sure that we get the right part. You have to have good knowledge about the vehicle. And if you don't, you got to build that knowledge yourself.
Right.
And I did enjoy it a lot. And even from service, moving from service into parts was a lot easier for me. That transition was easier because you learn it hands-on, and then when you're in parts, you know what all the parts are.
Right.
The parts department, if you have a good wholesale department, that brings in a lot of the money for the dealership.
Yes.
Right. And you're servicing people within maybe within 50 kilometers from your dealership.
Yes.
Right. You have a lot of little body shops and small mechanic shops. And the benefit of that is you're selling genuine parts.
Yes.
You're selling some of the parts that are made exactly for that vehicle. Right.
Yeah.
And depending on your manufacturer, you got a good parts system and they have processes in place.
Right.
But that's where those processes only go so far. You have
Yeah.
to be able to adapt with your demographic and for the needs. For example, if I have only vans coming into my place, I'm going to stock a lot of parts for vans,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Now, what I've noticed the change, the aftermarket companies they're really catching up and they're
Yeah.
doing a good job. Now, clients they're trying to watch their penny. And with these aftermarket parts, some of them cost 30% of the price of original part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And our dealers are still expected to compete with these aftermarket suppliers, right? Because based on what the shareholders need, right? They said it's not my problem. You should make it work.
Exactly. And a lot of aftermarket companies, they're offering warranties.
Yeah. Okay.
They're even offering warranty on their parts.
Right.
So some manufacturers offer, let's say, a good example of brake pads. Some manufacturers offer lifetime on brake pads, but the aftermarket do the same thing, and they're a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
Right. You and I both know, for the most part, OEM parts they're the best parts.
Yeah.
The alternatives are they're there. If people are willing to change a little more frequent but save more money,
yeah,
it's an option, definitely.
Yeah, and if you service your car with the dealer, you're guaranteed warranty, you're guaranteed safety, you're guaranteed factory trained technicians.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you have to find a way how to sell all those information to the customer, let them know that the guy down the street has his garage. Yes, you may be intimate with them, but at the same time, no, we have all these added value that we can give to you as the customer. So, I mean, how do we go about convincing that customer, even after their warranty has expired from their new car sales, to stay with the dealership? That is one of the most important things.
Well, absolutely. And a lot of that would be with the after sales. So service, that would be the service advisor.
Right.
And what some dealers should do, if they don't do it now, is they should have new car clinics. Whenever you sell a new vehicle, you should always have your clients come, whether it be a quarterly meeting or monthly. You bring in, invite your new customers to your dealership. Right. Show them about their vehicle. Explain to them why they should service their car with you. Right. It's all about that experience. So when we sell cars, we always have to sell the dealership. We don't just sell the vehicle, we sell the dealership and the facility.
So that is the new car customer experience. How would you call that clinic, that invite?
You can call it a new car clinic, right? That's pretty much what it is. It's a new car clinic, and you invite them to come by and learn about their vehicle, learn the mechanical aspect, have a technician show them underneath the vehicle, have them show them what the brakes look like, right? And this will benefit the dealership, because if they already gain that trust in the sale to the customer, now we're offering something for free. And if you give something for free, which is advice, you gain the most trust.
Yeah.
Right? You're really holding on to that customer. So when that advisor has to tell them in a year or 2 years that, look, you need to get new brake pads, they'll understand, because you know what? They were told that from the beginning. It's not going to be a big surprise for them. Right?
Yes.
And that just builds more rapport with the customer overall.
Really interesting, because a lot of dealerships would probably think that the experience starts from the sales department, but a lot of times when that customer leaves, he or she may not return to the dealership, but at the same time, now once the customer knows that the dealership is still reaching out and value them, then that they will actually return. So that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. No, sorry, go ahead.
Right, yeah, and also one more point on that. If they're actually willing to come on in for that clinic and learn about the car, then you have your odds are very high that they will return for servicing.
Okay.
Right? Because after you make that sale of the vehicle, that next 4 years plus, you want them to come back to your dealership.
Yeah.
You want to maintain that relationship with them.
Yes, and it's called customer retention. Your retention will remain high.
Exactly.
And at the same time, know what a lot of dealerships don't understand that contributes significantly to the absorption rate. Once your absorption rate remains high, then the selling of cars will just be secondary, right? So the dealership will be able to maintain their operational standards just by parts and service alone, right? Exactly. So the emphasis, what I've seen here in North America, is it's more sales driven, like most dealerships across the world, but there are certain regions in other parts of the world that concentrate on the absorption rate. So that's an excellent point. An excellent point. Coming up through the ranks during your 15 years, I know it's a lot of years. I certainly can't remember everything that I've been through, but at the same time, no. Could you reflect on some of the biggest challenges that you faced during your time, working within the dealerships?
The biggest challenge would be it's customer satisfaction.
Okay.
That is still the biggest challenge. So you have it on both ends, because we'll talk about that, but also it's the customer retention.
Yeah.
Right. We have to make sure the customers are happy, and that was a challenge, because customers will be happy, but you want to make sure they keep coming back to you. Okay. Right. If I look at it from a service aspect, I see a lot. This would happen a lot in service, where this was happening, where clients were coming in and just getting a diagnosis done. Right. And then they're going to leave, and they'll get the work done somewhere else.
Right.
Right. So we have to take a look at the work orders and the ROs and see, why is this customer just getting diagnosis, not getting the work done? They're getting it done, inspected professionally, but the work is being done outside.
Okay.
Okay. And then from a sales perspective, clients are coming in, guests are coming in, looking at the car, test driving the car, getting pricing on the car, negotiating on the pricing, and then leaving to get a better price somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it depends on where the dealerships are located. If there are many dealerships in a small vicinity, then you're going to get a lot of price shopping, and that happens for both parts, service and in sales.
Well, yeah, it is a fact, because it happened to me. I wanted a particular car. The nearest dealership to me that I checked out is just 10 minutes away, and I drove 45 minutes to the next dealership in order to get what I wanted. Yep. So, I mean, after I bought it, then they were saying to me, "Oh, you could have come to us for the car or whatever." I said, "Yeah, but I needed the car like no." You get what I'm saying? And you didn't have it, so I have to go to the dealer that could provide me with what I wanted. So yeah, it's something that is inside the industry itself, but I know a lot of people can relate to it, right? But that is just one aspect. What about the industry overall? What is your perception of the challenges facing the industry right now?
The challenges that we're going to be looking at right now, good example, computer chip shortage right now.
Okay.
So there's a computer chip shortage in the industry. So a lot of vehicles are being on a back order. From right now, if you were to get a Ford F-150, you have about a 6 to 8 month wait.
If you want 8 months.
Yeah, wow. If you want a Toyota Sienna, you're looking at about another maybe 3 to 6 month wait.
Okay.
And that's from April 2021. So you're waiting until the end of summer or beginning of winter to get your car.
Yeah, to get a 2021 car when the 2022 models are actually ready.
Exactly. So talking about computer chips, the big challenge is going to be the switch to electric.
Yeah.
Right. And the other big manufacturers that are out there. The brands that we know of now, they're starting to make the change over to electric. However, there's already manufacturers that are already dominating that section. Right. So those are challenges that we have to overcome. And right now, the biggest challenge that we had started last year was people shopping from home.
Yeah.
That's the largest challenge that we got, where you have to try to be there for that customer and deliver a great customer service experience to them, whether that be you delivering the car to their house, or for service, you have to go pick the car up from them, right? Or be able to shuttle. Everything's about convenience now for them.
Right. Yeah, because the pandemic has opened a lot of avenues where persons can now stay at home. Well, we're forced to work from home. We're forced to shop from home. We're forced to have meetings like this from home. So, I mean, we have to move with the paradigm, right? And as you know, right throughout life, the only thing that's constant in life is change. So
That's right.
that's one of the things that dealerships need to understand, especially with the buzz now about electric cars coming onto the market, right?
Yeah.
I know hybrids have been around for years, but
Yeah.
the hybrids were not being marketed in the same breath that as the electric cars are now doing so, right?
Yes.
So it has taken on a more aggressive approach to the market, right?
Absolutely.
But what are some of in terms of the dealership now is, well, not necessarily your dealership, but overall, what are some of the defensive mechanisms they're going to use? Will everyone be launching into electric cars soon, or are they're just going to go with the conventional cars that are now?
Well, right now we're going to stick with conventional, but each manufacturer has something cooking. Majority of all brands have at least one electric / hybrid.
Yeah.
And they're moving forward with those. We're looking at 2030, 2035 up to 2040. We'll have most likely a full electric fleet for almost all manufacturers.
Okay.
There will be maybe that one car that's going to have gas, but for the most part, majority of them are all going to be, the new vehicles are going to be all electric.
Okay.
So by 2040, everything will be electric and most likely self-autonomous.
Mhm.
Right? The cars are pretty much going to drive on their own.
On their own, right? Yeah. Well, we've been
different
hearing
story.
about that, but the verdict is still out. We have not been hearing anything good so far about all these self-driving cars. But if you live in Toronto, I don't think it's going to work out because we have 2 seasons here. We have winter and construction. So
That's it.
so there's no way. I'm just being pessimistic right now about that. But we'll whenever we get to that bridge, we'll cross it, right?
Yeah.
But what are some of your recommendations and suggestions based on your vast experience in the industry right now? What would you recommend for dealers?
For dealers, it's make it very efficient for your customers. We have to look at what's going to keep bringing your customers back to you.
Yeah.
Right. And after the sale of the vehicle, you got to bring them back. So that means they're going to be coming to your parts department and your service department.
Right.
And what you have to do is really understand that people will not have to come out to a dealership to get a car.
Yeah.
They're only going to have to go there for servicing. Okay. Yeah. So your dealership might most likely just be a test drive area. That's pretty much what it'll be, because you're going to end up buying
one. And I'm glad we're having this discussion because this is what we don't call it now, the authorities need to understand and need to learn, right? In managing the day-to-day affairs, we always have to look towards the future, right? And that is why it is contingent for your midterm, your short-term, and your long-term plans has to be in place in order to mitigate some of these things. I mean, natural disasters do happen, such as the coronavirus right now, right? Unfortunately. But at the same time, no, you see the measures that are being put in place, but at the end of the day, it affects everyone, right? But ultimately, it affects the bottom line, right? So how do we get past that? Get what I'm saying? You have to provide some form of avenue for the customers to come to you or you go to them while remaining profitable. It's really a balancing act.
So what we're seeing right now in other industries is a change from brick and mortar. And you don't want that in automotive necessarily, because there's a lot of jobs that the automotive companies bring to people, right? There's a lot of jobs. And if we cut out the brick and mortar stores, that's just a lot less people working, right? Each person has something great to bring to the team, right? And what we have to do is try to keep as many jobs as we can, right? Now, in order for us to be able to change with the times, I go back to service, because service is the one time if I sell a car, you might sell one person a car once every 3 years, 4 years in a lease. Okay. For example, but that person is going to come back maybe 3-4 times a year just to get their car service.
Yeah.
Right. So you might see them 16 times,
Yeah.
20 times, right? Plus. So you don't want to turn anyone away. And I've seen this throughout all my years where I'll see the biggest thing about customer retention would be time management. Okay. And that's the service department managing their time and how much time it takes to get something done. Right. I'm not a believer that I don't believe that oil changes should take an hour. I think an oil change should take less than 30 minutes and have that customer out the door.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so
Right?
true. If
you ask you have a poll and you ask any single person, are you willing to wait an hour or half an hour for an oil change? They'll tell you 10 minutes. Right. But if we can provide that same half an hour, we're doing well, right? You have places like where we have Midas, Meineke. We have places like that, right? Express.
Quick Lube.
People go there because of the time. Right? So if we had a way where we're more efficient and lean with our time and having people servicing done a lot faster, that is definitely beneficial because that's how you can get people to keep coming to you and not go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. Not only do we have factory trained technicians, we have state-of-the-art facilities. Right. We know the vehicle, that make and model better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Right. If our price is very similar to someone else, why are we going to lose that client? Right. We shouldn't lose them for something that's completely in our control and we can control the time. Right.
Yeah. So the whole message is to be customer centric. That's basically what it is.
Exactly. We have to, that's all it's going to come down to right now because we all get the stuff for the same price, even if it's the same labor. We have to look at the one factor we control, and that's time. And that's how you can keep your customer.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you lose that one client because something takes too long, they will.
But this message that you're relaying to us is like, how many of us understands it that work within the dealership? You get what I'm saying? Knowing that the customer that comes through the door, they are the ones who are providing for us, so we can walk into this nice fancy dealership, see the flat screen TV, coffee centers over there, the couches, the elaborate displays, how the area is aesthetically set. So many things goes into how the ergonomics are placed in terms of the processes the customer goes through from the time they drive their car in, from the greeters to the service advisors taking the car through the garage, then the mechanic that does his diagnostics. The information comes back to the service advisor, back to the customer. The customer will approve yes or no whether they want to get certain things done, and then it's relayed back to the mechanic. Then the mechanic goes ahead and order the parts, and then the parts department has to find a way how to get the parts efficiently, effectively to the mechanic, and the process goes on and on and on and on and on, right? But at the same time, no, everything ties into a time factor because, believe it or not, nobody wants to sit inside a dealership for an hour, right?
And pay money.
And yes, exactly, because time is money, right? Yeah. Time is definitely money. And then things are those, we have to look at improving the process at all times, right? How do we continually improve? You're cutting out the fat, right? Because
that's it.
Yeah, because it's two ways you actually stay profitable. Either you increase your sales or you cut expenses.
You're absolutely right. One of the words you said there that you said great stuff. And a couple of words that stuck out to me is I like cutting the fat, but the biggest one's efficiency.
Yeah.
We have to be more efficient because you just had maybe 14 steps. And imagine that has to be done for every customer.
Yeah.
Every single day. So
exactly. Exactly.
A day, 7 days, 5 days a week, that 200 times, that's a lot. And
some dealers do 7.
They do 7. So how
some dealers do 7, yeah.
We have to be able to cut that fat and get rid of that extra. Like, can we cut down some steps? Is there a way we can be more efficient with that, where we don't need it to go through that many people?
Yeah.
Right. Can we have, what if we had a department, or if you have a design where you don't have to go through all those different steps,
Mhm.
right? And everyone's ready for it.
Yeah.
And that's how you could be more lean,
Yeah.
implement some Sigma 6 concepts into it.
Yeah.
But every dealership's going to be different, the way they do it,
Well,
right?
yeah, definitely,
This
definitely.
is this is something, it's an investment, but that's the way it should go. Because at the end of the day, the one dealerships that are doing it now, that are learning about it now, they're ahead of everyone.
Of course. And this is one of the reasons why, because when I was working intimately with the industry, what we had was benchmarking, right? At all times, we will benchmarking and best practices. We would meet with other dealers on a quarterly basis right across. So we will take, well, as you know, I'm originally from Jamaica. So we would meet with other dealers from across the Caribbean, right? At their dealerships. We will fly there, 5, 6, up to 8 to 10 of us, different managers from across the Caribbean. We will go to a particular dealership. We will meet. We will do presentations of our own performances, showing our KPIs, right? And then we will do a tour of the dealer that is hosting us, the dealership that is hosting us, and we will go through and we will learn and we will share and we will give pointers and we will take back to our respective dealerships and implement what suits us and what works us, because we have to get it tailor-made and fitted for our culture and our operations, right? So we have to take a lot of that. But when I came to Canada, I didn't see that much unless there was a large conference going on, right? Where persons will actually meet at that large conference and they will congregate and talk about certain things. But that's basically what is missing, because in North America here, the dealerships are more competitive, right?
Yeah.
They're far more competitive. They want to sell and maintain that the franchise, so to speak, from the manufacturer, because if they don't perform at a particular standard, then they might lose out on maintaining that franchise, right? It goes across the world, but from my experience, just that part itself was lacking. I may be wrong, but based on my experience that I saw here, right, much of that is needed for dealerships to collaborate and help each other out, right? Do best practices, look at the various KPIs and see how much we can move the market, so to speak. So I know it's a mouthful, but at the same time, no, I think you can relate to what I'm saying.
Oh, completely. You're right. They can't be afraid of change, because what happens is the manufacturer, what they do is they have particular processes in place, and that's their standard, and that's what they gauge you at, is that process, right? But they'll do that for all of North America.
Yeah.
Right? And the dealer.
Sorry, if you see me keep looking down, it's because it's my phone. The questions are on my phone, and it keep going off, and I have to be rebooting it.
I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, I have to be rebooting it. Sorry.
No problem.
Not distracted.
So they, it's all standard, and that's where the dealer can't really implement their own thing, right? They have their district service managers, for example. They'll come around and they'll make sure that they're following the process.
Right.
But what if you can change that process to adapt with your clientele, right? What if you can make it better, right? Remember, these managers, they're trainers themselves, right? But they're trained from a book, right? They're trained by someone else that trained them. And this is stuff that's been passed down for 20, 30 years. Now it's going to be time for a change. We have to adapt, right? It's now or never. If we don't make the change now, we're going to get crushed later on. We're only getting, as technology increases with the new vehicles, there's only less mechanical parts that are actually in the vehicle.
Yes.
Right? We're moving away from combustion engines completely soon.
Yeah.
Right? And we're getting down to just, if a customer comes in, we're either going to change a computer, we're going to change their tires, and we're going to change some magnets. Yeah. I really don't know. Right?
We have to move with the times, because I mean, look at Tesla. Tesla is far ahead of the game right now.
That's right.
So I mean, Where does the conventional dealer, the traditional dealer, where do they stand, seeing that someone comes into the market right now and they're setting a particular standard, right? So
Yeah.
we have to look into all of that, right? But how do we? It goes to my last question. How do we prepare for an ever-changing market? Because we know the evolution of the auto industry has been constant, right? How do we prepare for the future? How do we constantly prepare? Seeing that we have more players coming into the market right now, electric cars, right? Self-driving cars,
Yeah.
all right? You have guys out there building solar cars. You get what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah.
how do we go about? I mean, in your honest opinion.
Well, good thing is that the brands that are out here now that we have now currently, that you and I are both aware of, they have a good brand loyalty, right? And that's something that's going to stick with them for a long time. They have people that have had their cars before. People are still kind of skeptical right now because for electric, because we don't really have the infrastructure to continuously have those vehicles, right? Now people
Okay.
working.
Sorry. Go back. Could you explain that part? The infrastructure.
Okay. So the reason why not all manufacturers have full electric vehicles right now is because where are you gonna, if you're going on a long trip, where are you gonna charge your car?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Point taken. Yeah.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong, they do have fast charging vehicles now.
Yeah.
Lucid Motors, they have one that can charge within you can charge about 80 up to 80% in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So you can or charge your full car in about 20 minutes, which is incredible because you can get over 200 kilometers, 300 kilometers off that one charge.
Damn,
Right?
and I can go to the gas station and spend less than 3 minutes, full my tank, and I'm
Exactly. Right. Now we need charging stations as well. That's the thing. They're not all over. So if manufacturers
right.
start selling these cars, we're not ready to charge them up yet.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That quickly. So that's why you're going to see more hybrid vehicles or more some electric slash gasoline. Right. Where you can get your 80 kilometers, 100 kilometers, and then you have a reserve for maybe 300 kilometers worth of fuel.
Yeah.
Right. So for those short commutes, you have electric. But yeah, it's the infrastructure that we have to really, we're kind of waiting on. But it's new players coming to the game, like you said, right? A couple we have like Tesla, Neo, Lucid Motors, and a few others that are now out here. But their price points are a little higher, which is kind of benefiting other dealers, right? And the good thing is that when we have these big companies that have been around for 30 plus years, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of brand loyalty. They should or would be able to bring out vehicles that are going to be affordable. So they're working on their technology. So in 2030, 2035, when their full fleets are electric, they're affordable and they're known for around that price that they go for already, right? I'll give you an example. I don't think we're going to see a $70,000 Honda Civic full electric.
Okay.
Right. They want to keep it closer to the price range that they're in now.
Right.
But also remembering that once you do that and you sell those vehicles, you won't see that client in all the time for servicing of their car.
Because believe it or not, everything is done online now. Customer stays home and then the updates are done online, Wi-Fi automatically. So they will still need to come in for regular brake checks and suspension, all these other things, right? But
exactly. So we don't have to really worry too much right now about that, about the other competition. All manufacturers are working towards going eco-friendly and going green. And it's just a matter of time. But right now, we're going to have other manufacturers that are all electric. They're coming out. People will buy their vehicles. They're not going to be cheap. They have to go straight to that manufacturer. There's no negotiating for that vehicle. The price there is what you're going to be paying, right? They're going to save money on fuel. They're going to save money on maintenance services, right? But the other manufacturers that have been around for years don't really have to worry too much right now about those other companies because we don't know much about them yet. Right? They're very new. Right. Apple's looking for someone to merge with soon. That will be very interesting. Right. You're gonna have an Apple car soon. They're just trying to find the right people with technology. But right now, from what we're talking, in the next 5 years, we're going to see a lot of mergers happen. I see a lot of
Okay.
companies merging,
Yeah.
right? There's gonna be a lot of
Okay.
mergers, and we'll see a lot of collaborations with manufacturers, right?
Okay.
So
I
we just
know,
have to,
I know, I know. Mergers are always on the horizon, and the only persons who win in a merger is the shareholders. Not much so the staff, but that's another story. But
yeah.
from in closing, how has it been for you? I mean, within the last 15 years, you're still in the game, and obviously you love it. You have a passion for it, based on how you come across, and that's basically what we need in the industry. If you don't love it, you're not going to stay in it,
That's
right?
right.
And we know some of the experiences we have seen over the years based on it. But tell us in closing, how has your experience been? Give us an insight.
My experience is great. I'm learning from how to properly park a car to how to fix your own vehicle, learning how to fix the car, learning sales from a different perspective. Because remember, even a mechanic is a salesperson,
Okay, yes, that's
right?
true.
You're looking out for the customer's best interest,
Yeah.
right? And then as a service advisor, you're a salesperson, right? That has to be able to relay that information the technician gives you. So that technical information, I enjoyed that very much. That was great. And you get to talk to the customer.
Yeah.
And then you're working in the parts department, learning about all the different parts and which one works and how it is. You're one of the beating hearts of the dealership and the
Yeah.
parts department. It's a small area, but it has a big impact because you're
Yeah.
the middleman.
Yeah.
The parts department is that middle section that gets everything ready, gets
Yeah.
everything that you need.
I wish a lot of people will hear that, but anyway.
That's parts is my favorite department. I loved it. Usually parts you have fewer employees, but that's the one department where employees stay and work. They stay there,
They stay there.
right?
Yeah.
I can go around and I'll go to sales and service. You might have the mechanic that's been there for 20 years, but you'll have a guy that's been in parts for 30 plus,
Yeah.
and they're not
That is
moving.
true.
It's
Yeah.
very comfortable. And then moving over into sales, that was just for me as an advisor up to a service manager and dealing with customers, all the way to sales. Then you're only dealing with clients, right? And the psychology of dealing with customers. And then in finance, learning about what it takes to get someone approved and building deals and how credit bureaus look at clients. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Overall, the automotive industry is something that everyone should look into. It's an amazing industry,
Okay.
only growing. So I enjoyed my time. I still enjoy it every day.
Yeah, it shows based on how we can hear your passion, and it's very commendable, right? A lot of times we get fatigued and we want to move on to something else, but at the same time, no, we have that love-hate relationship with what we do, especially working with the in the dealership scenario. But Devin, yeah, but like I said, I'm not going to hold you much longer. I know you're a busy person, and I want to thank you very much for this second chance to put everything in perspective. And hopefully, as time goes by, I can have you again in this situation to speak more, right? Because I know you probably have a lot of more experiences to share with us. But I'm grateful and I appreciate your time. Okay.
Thanks,
So
Chris.
yeah, I will, and I will send you a copy of this, right?
Sounds good.
So no problem. But we'll keep in touch. Again, thank you very much and have yourself a good night.
Bless.
Blessed.
Blessed.